is up, everybody? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Monday, June 2nd. It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, joined by Santi Zap, and we are here to talk Raw. Santi, what the hell is going on? And first of all, how are you?
I'm doing really good. If you had a gun to my head and told me who is going to win that men's Money in the Bank qualifier, the answer was not going to be El Grande Americano. The answer was always CM Punk. I thought it was clear as day it was going to be CM Punk, and yet here we are. I don't know that I hate it. I don't know that I like it. I'm interested, and I'm willing to see it through.
Well, that's more than I can say, Santi. You at least sound a little optimistic about this. I'm kind of just like thinking, really? I feel let down right now with this lineup for the men's Money in the Bank. After breaking it down and seeing the names that we have here, I'm not necessarily so convinced that I know what direction they're headed in. There's a direction that I think they're headed in that would actually work, even though some people might not love it. And then there's another direction that I think they're headed in that I don't want them to go into. So they got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. Santi, I think there are two options here. I think one of them is the obvious one, which is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, being part of this new group, he's a former world heavyweight champion. He's the one that has the most gravitas to be in that, main event spot. A bunch of people have been saying this, and I don't think that they're wrong, but there's a chance that this could be El Grande Americano's win too.
Listen, there is something about the possibility of El Grande Americano having the briefcase and Chad Gable not being able to celebrate it because he's selling so hard that he's not El Grande Americano, and that would be just so funny. So funny. In a world where Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are hypothetically the same person, let's pretend, kind of wild though, right? He's going to be in what should presumably be a very scary high-flying match against Hijo del Vikingo a couple of hours beforehand, and it's the main event, which means it's very few hours before the show because it's what's going to close Worlds Collide. There's going to be a lot of high-flying stuff, a lot of crazy moves in that match. If you've seen an Hijo del Vikingo match, you know what to expect. If you haven't, expect Chad Gable to be put in a match that you've never really been able to see before and really understand the crazy high-flying stuff that these guys are going to do. And then Money in the Bank starts, an hour and a half after the bell rings when that match is over? So what are they doing here? Does that match have to close the show so that Chad Gable at the very least has a full show in between to be able to rest up? If he's El Grande Americano.
Dude, okay, so yeah, I definitely do think that it would have to be the main event of the night to give that some sort of gap, because that's what I was talking about earlier. I kind of hate how close these shows are together because the show starts at noon Pacific Standard Time. So if it's a 3-hour show, let's just say it's a 3-hour show, it'll end at 3. Money in the Bank starts at 4. That gives people an hour. And now think about the wrestlers and, obviously some people, Grande Americano pulling double duty. I mean, it is one of those things where if that's the main event, then yes, that will have to be the men's Money in the Bank will have to be the main event for the night. But I don't know that I want to see a comedic Money in the Bank this year. I mean, I guess I prefer the more serious cash-ins. I know they can always be hits like that. They can always be the serious competitors. I know that, but I'm just not necessarily in love with the idea right now of El Grande Americano winning. I just think that there is a high probability that it might happen. And so I do want to ask you, though, is there anybody else that you actually see taking this? Like maybe an LA Knight, given that it's in LA?
That's my pick. I'm seeing the writing on the wall that Seth Rollins is going to get screwed over by CM Punk, maybe even Roman Reigns on this show. So he has so many people on the opposition that could prevent him from winning. If CM Punk and Roman Reigns are there to screw over Seth Rollins, all I ask is one thing, screw over Seth Rollins during the match, not during a cash-in on the same day. Let's not do that again. All right, let's not do the Drew McIntyre angle again. If you're going to screw Seth, prevent him from winning the Money in the Bank briefcase in the first place. For me, the other person that I'm thinking him before El Grande Americano is LA Knight. When I look at LA Knight, the position that he's been consistently been putting on Friday Night SmackDown, what he could do with that briefcase, maybe reignite the storyline with John Cena, where they were both buds a couple of years ago, now on opposing sides. I feel like LA Knight cashing in on Jey Uso would be fascinating, very different, yeah, versus Yeet. And LA Knight has been the favorite to win this match over the last 2 years, maybe third time's the charm.
That's what I've been thinking about. I keep thinking to myself because someone said, "What if LA Knight loses? The fans will riot. LA Knight fans will riot." And I'm just thinking to myself, poor LA Knight fans. They have been in this case, in this scenario, multiple times, and multiple times they have been screwed out of a victory. And back then, LA Knight was a much hotter commodity. Like, people still cheer and root for LA Knight, but he's nowhere near, I think, as popular as he was, the first time around when he started to gain that buzz. And the first Money in the Bank that he went into was when he had the most popularity. And so I don't know. This feels like the most conflicting Money in the Bank that we've had in maybe a second. And it's just, I'm not looking forward to seeing who wins this match. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the matchup because I know Penta, Seth, and Andrade and Grande Americano, they're going to have fun spots. Spots wise, cool. That's what you want to see in this ladder match. But I'm not necessarily too crazy about who's actually going to walk out the winner.
It pales in comparison to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, where it's just so stacked, and I'm so excited for that match. I'm confident the women are going to steal the show from the gimmick match perspective, like they do pretty much almost every year. Yeah, the men's look like Solo. I can't see that guy being particularly very exciting in a ladder match. Andrade, although Andrade's there for the cool spots, he doesn't add drama because he's not winning. It's a 0% chance that Andrade wins there. Meanwhile, when I look at the women, I could make a solid case for every single one of the competitors, literally every single one. I could write you a nice 5-page essay as to why they should win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I would be correct about all 6 of them.
And so let's get into it. The women's Money in the Bank: Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and the person who qualified today after defeating Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan, we had Stephanie Vaquer. And she was the popular pick going into this. I wasn't sure if WWE would go for it or if they would go with Liv Morgan. Like, those were the options, the realistic options there. And it ended up being Stephanie. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, nice. I'm so glad that she's in this match. And kind of like what you said, every single girl in here, you can make a case for them winning this match. However, my top 2, oh God, I can't even say my top 2 picks. I would say the most realistic pick. Oh God, I can't even say that. Shit. I'm like trying to think, how do I say this? I think I'm going with Naomi though. Naomi,
Same.
as of right now, is my front runner only because she kind of she checks all of the boxes, right? She's the heel. She's a great character. She kind of needs it a little bit more. She's in a different point in her career. Whereas Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, they're so new. They don't really need this right now. So that's why I'm not really thinking that they're going to win. I'm thinking this is going to be a win for Naomi.
I picked Naomi too in my predictions video that I did on Sunday. I feel like she fits the best. I also feel like it's an inevitability that we're going to get the big 3 triple threat. And I think that they're going to make that for the title with Naomi going in as the champion eventually, whether it's SummerSlam, maybe as early as Women's Evolution. That would be bold to have Naomi win and cash in before Evolution. But it's clear as day that we're getting the big 3 triple threat. I think it's going to be for the title with Naomi as champion after she cashes in.
Wait, so who do you mean for the big 3 triple threat? Are you
The
saying
Bianca, Naomi, and Jade. That was their
okay?
tag team name, the big 3.
Okay, that makes more sense now. It's like, which big 3 are we talking about?
No, the
But
big 3.
yeah. No, I would love to see that. I was even thinking that Naomi would probably cash in at Evolution too, because they're gonna want to make the show a big deal. At least I think they should make the show a big deal. I think they should stack it as much and have as much possible news coming out of that show that you possibly can. I think Naomi cashing in, I would be down for that. And mind you, I'm a Tiffany Stratton fan, but I do think that Naomi has been doing such a good enough job with this character that I wouldn't hate her cashing in and becoming champ.
No, I'm with you. And listen, she's gonna tape that Money in the Bank briefcase in the caution tape. It's gonna look cool. They also found the thing for Naomi. They found the it thing. I've always said that Naomi with her babyface run was always destined to be the sixth or seventh most popular babyface on the roster. With this character, she could be the top heel in the company. I genuinely believe that in women's wrestling. And one of the best ways to catapult and utilize the fact that you found a new higher ceiling for Naomi is the briefcase.
Dude, yes, I'm on board with that. Let's hope it happens. But let's go ahead and see what everyone's saying here. We got Oscar Lara who says, according to our truth, LA Knight is from Louisiana. I mean, shout out to our truth, man. I mean, we might as well talk about that right now, Santi. Big news broke. Everybody here and their mother has heard about it. WWE choosing not to renew our truth's contract. And out of all of the releases, Santi, I don't think I've ever seen such a unanimous amounts of love and support from fans, from wrestlers, from everybody in the industry coming out in support of our truth. And the fans today chanting, "We want truth," and "What's up," and all of that. Very, very heartbreaking stuff. I mean, dude, like, what was your reaction when you saw the news about when you saw our truth's tweet? Because, dude, I thought it was a joke when I saw it. I was like, wait, where's the joke? Like, I was looking for the punchline in this.
Yeah, I thought it was a late April Fool's prank because it came on June 1st, April 1st. I'm 3 months late. Haha, I'm on truth. I'm silly. I got the wrong date. That's what I thought it was at first. It wasn't until like I was scouring the internet, making sure, okay, what are the reputable outlets that I follow? What are they saying until I saw, okay, this is real. And like I talked about it in my YouTube video today. Like it's just such a bummer. It's weird to have a guy that has this much experience that clearly is a big driver for locker room morale. Have you seen all of the responses from all of the WWE superstars to R Truth's release? And I just can't help but imagine that this is such a negligible decimal point in the record profits of TKO that to let a guy go like this seems like a bigger loss than it is a net financial win. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. Yeah, sure, our truth was never the top guy in the company, not the top merch seller, not the guy that you put in the main event scenes, but you were using him every week and you were using him successfully and you were using him in a manner that fans really resonated with and people really, really like. What's also weird is that if you knew you weren't going to re-sign him, why wouldn't you take advantage of that and make the Cena Truth feud a loser leaves town storyline and help elevate and make John Cena a bigger piece of shit heel? Like it was you that killed Truth. And now, instead of being able to take that negativity, that negative energy, turn it into wrestling heat and point it at Cena, now it's just negative aura, negative energy at the product that we love. And now fans are trying to hijack the show, which, like, kudos to them, but it also hurts the women that were part of the matches that they took over. That happened during the main event when it didn't have to be that way. Had they been smart, had a little tiny ounce of foresight, and if you weren't going to re-sign him, bottle that and turn it into wrestling heat so that we could aim that at Cena, it would have been so much better. But instead, a lack of foresight, a lack of understanding what fans want has led to this.
I'm curious about like how all of this has been decided upon because like you said, the lack of foresight, who at the end of the day is making these decisions? Like this is a TKO thing, a Triple H thing, like how, like who is, officially making these decisions, right? I think we haven't necessarily gotten the full 411 on that just yet. And I keep thinking to myself that this feels like a TKO thing because from my understanding, they tend to do this to people that, when it comes to like legends, I think they did the same thing over at UFC where they started to let go of the legends because they were like, okay, instead of finding you an office job, it's like, okay, you're gone, you're out of here. And you mentioned the morale thing, and it really is that. Like, I saw some people, it's interesting because I think that I think that people should in the company should always be prepared. I think at this point we have seen so many situations of people being let go, people being screwed over, all sorts of ways that you shouldn't be surprised anymore. Like you should always have a plan B. It sounds horrible, but it's just the thing you need to do to protect yourself. So I feel like people seeing what happened to R-Truth kind of shows that no matter how loyal you are, at the end of the day, it's not going to be your saving grace, which sucks. And I started to think to myself, like, damn, at what point did they know they were letting R-Truth go? Because part of me started to think, Santi, dude, what if like the John Cena stuff was your last? Hey, we kind of started to get the idea that we're gonna let him go, so let's give him a last hoorah kind of moment with John Cena, like a going away type of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, that would kind of suck if they knew at that point that, they weren't going to be extending his contract. I think that would suck if they did that for that reason.
We'll never know. Honestly, we'll never know because as far as I know from what I've seen, Truth found out after. Like this wasn't like, hey, we're not going to re-sign you. We want to run this Cena program to let you pay off all of this stuff that you've been doing with Cena for a really long time. The history that you have, the Cena is your childhood hero. I literally think they wanted to run this program, looked at the books, his contract's coming up. We're good. We're not going to re-sign him. It's just a bad look. It really is just a bad look. No, I'm not here making the argument that R-Truth is like the make or break of the WWE. But there had to have been a spot for a 17-year veteran that you could have found, whether it's backstage. Here's the thing, they were using him perfectly. They were using him perfectly to a T based on his strengths, his limitations. They were using him wonderfully. And that's still not good enough. If I'm in catering getting no TV time and my contract's coming up, I'm starting to make calls. I'm fixing my LinkedIn profile at this point, baby, because I anything is possible.
Okay, so you were mentioning like, roles for R-Truth. I actually thought there would have been two good spots for R-Truth. Now, mind you, of course, I don't know the inner workings of whether or not, those were taken already or whatever, but one in particular was, okay, what's one thing that R-Truth is really good at? It's the comedy. It's the bringing the life of the personality and all of that, right? Character development. Like that's like we know he is a character. Work with people on NXT who need a lot of help. There's a lot of people out there that do not have no character, do not have no sense of direction when it comes to it, especially on the men's side. I would have loved to see R-Truth work with some of those people, behind the scenes, help them find who they're supposed to be. And then the other one is kind of a random one because I don't know if you watched his game show, the R-Truth game show that happened around COVID during the pandemic era. I remember watching those and they were hella funny. Okay, WWE is always looking for extra content on YouTube, on the Peacock, on all of these freaking services that they're on. You're like, come on, you throw in the damn game show. They've done it. I thought it was really enjoyable. It's one of the few WWE shows I actually watched, and it's like on top of everything, on top besides from the wrestling shows, obviously. So I feel like even things like that could have been like a spot to fill for him because again, when someone's with the company for such a long time and someone's so beloved, you want to make sure you keep that person around again for morale's sake and as well as just being good to people that have been good to you.
17 years in a cutthroat business is experience I would say you can't buy, but they literally could. They had it right there. How you don't keep that around in a landscape where you have so much up and coming young talent is crazy to me. I think it's one of the most baffling decisions that we've seen from TKO in WWE.
And the fans definitely showed it today. We got Sucho here who says people gave Santi shit for basically saying Sami is too much of a goody two shoes, but looks like Cross and Santi are on the same frequency. A true visionary, Santi. See, I'm sorry. I feel like they're trying to force Sami Zayn into a heel role. When Karrion Cross came out today and said, "You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy," I thought, "Oh hell's no, not my Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's a good boy." So I'm no, he's a good boy.
He's referring to all of his awesome heel runs. Let's not forget the great conspiracy theorist Sami Zayn, the
Oh yeah,
honorary
that was fun.
Oos.
Yeah.
Sammy is a bad human being, all right? He is a bad person in terms of the things that he's done as a character in the WWE. And all of a sudden, well, we're supposed to just put that under the rug, and Sami Zayn is this mega hero, super good guy. I don't know, man. He's got some skeletons in that closet that Karrion Kross is trying to bring out and start puppeteering around.
Okay, why is Karrion Kross so all up on everybody's business but his own? He's all up on Sammy's business, all up on AJ Styles' business.
Because WWE won't give him his own business. So he has to go deal with other people's business. He gets 40 seconds to deal with other people's business. That's all he gets.
Bro, it's so sad. That's so sad. Thank you, Sucho. We got Jacob Tatum here who says, between Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne Perez, which one would you like to win Money in the Bank? And who are you going to miss more, Carlito or R-Truth? Definitely R-Truth. Carlito had been gone for several years and then, came back. So just the fact that he even got this extended 2-year run, I thought was, a pretty big win for Carlito there, and he'll be fine. So definitely R-Truth. But I think, my favorite is Roxanne, but damn, I would love it if Stephanie or Roxanne won. I do want to mention this now. Stephanie Vaquer had a confrontation backstage with Rhea Ripley. Dude, it was too much to handle. I couldn't even handle all of that on one screen.
Oh, I couldn't handle that either. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at that and I was like,
hand check, Santi. Hand check.
Listen, out of those three, like okay, Julia, they kind of spoiled that she won't win because they've got her going after the US title. Great choice, by the way. I think that's a good idea. Roxanne Perez, her winning is fascinating because of the dynamic and what it would do to the Judgment Day. Stephanie Vaquer is fascinating to me, and stick with me here, because I feel like WWE has a chance to do with Stephanie Vaquer what they tried to do with Finn Balor when he was initially called up from NXT. To the moon instantly within the first month of his time in the main roster. Except this time, it'll go better. She won't get injured, and we won't deal with the 7 years of agony. I think that they have a chance to redo correctly the Finn Balor push that they tried all of those years ago, but with Stephanie Vaquer.
So you're saying that instead of doing it with the demon, they could do it with the dark angel. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that thinking. All right, I'm on board with it, dude. I loved this confrontation with her and Rhea because I just thought to myself, dude, that is the future. And it was so funny because Kathy accidentally had a little mishap and she said WrestleMania instead of Money in the Bank. And I actually kind of thought it was funny because I'm like, yo, her future is so bright. She's already seeing WrestleMania in her horizon.
Well, yes. Well, we had a couple of those because Gunther also said Money in the Bank. Said Saturday night's main event instead of Money in the Bank when he was talking to Jay.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
He's just backstage.
Yeah. He's just like, and before our match, you have a tag team match at Saturday night's main event, Jay.
I did not even notice that.
He said Saturday night's main event.
I think I didn't notice that because I was watching it and I was just thinking to myself, yo, they're stretching this out so much. I even forgot their match is still incoming after Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. I forgot. And we talk about this every week and it just slipped my mind.
Yeah. I'm curious, your thoughts, with that match being saved for after Money in the Bank, directly after Money in the Bank. That means the briefcase is in the ecosystem. And with how much they're talking about this match, do we see a cash in here? Do you see Goldberg making an appearance here to set up the Saturday night's main event match in Atlanta, his backyard, his hometown?
I'm trying to think who would be, okay, if someone was going to cash in on Jey Uso, who would be the one to cash in on Jey Uso out of those names?
Gracias.
No, but it would have to be. It would have to be a failed cash in, Santi.
It'd be Seth.
Okay. I was about to say, because if it's El Grande Americano, that better be a failed cash in, all right?
No, if there is a cash in, I think it's Seth. If there is a cash in, I think it's Seth. Solo's interesting too, right? Because they're brothers.
I would hate seeing Jey Uso just lose just like that to Seth, though.
Yeah, you're not supposed to like that.
Oh, damn. See, I'm not in love with the idea. I'm not in love. But then it's why else would they be setting this up, So, okay, Goldberg, I don't know. Does he, we thought he was going to come back at, what was it, the last show that we were talking about, where we thought, what was Backlash? Yeah, Backlash. Sorry, there's been so many shows now. I can't even decipher the difference between them. Dude, okay, so they're thinking that people are thinking that that's gonna happen at Great American Bash, right? No, not Great American Bash,
Well, there's
Night of
Saturday night's
Champions?
main
No,
ev
wait.
no, so
Saturday night's main
Saturday,
event, thank you.
yeah, because that's in Atlanta, right? That's Goldberg
Yes.
country, which
Okay.
is July 12th. That's and that would be counter programming the All In stuff, right? Because they went against All In head to head that night, and then All In moved shifted to the afternoon. So maybe in TKO's eyes, Goldberg is a big enough draw to change the discussion to Goldberg instead of All In. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of hard because I feel like a lot of people have turned on Goldberg over the years. I feel like as every year goes by, I see more and more Oldberg tweets on my timeline. So I don't know. At some point, this has to get started. So I think you might be right because why else run this back? Why else run back James So and Gunther? There's really no other explanation.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, we could see Logan Paul interjecting himself in this match. I don't think Jay and Logan is done as a program. Maybe it sets up triple threat match between those three at Night of Champions because that's around the corner as well.
Duh, hearing all of these show names,
There's
Santi, they're mixing them all up.
they're coming all they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Yes. Oh my God. Dion here says, I asked Santi this, but now I'm asking you, what if El Grande Americano wins Money in the Bank and uses it to win the AAA championship? One of the things that I want to see when it comes to this partnership, or not even partnership, this acquisition of WWE and AAA, is that I don't want them to treat AAA as a fourth brand of WWE. I want it to be its own promotion, its own thing. I don't necessarily want it to feel like a fourth brand. So that's honestly one of my fears. I don't want them to make it so WWE-ish because the fans will revolt against that as they already have started to revolt against WWE and Triple H and the decisions that they've been making thus far. Thank you, Dion. We got Bob Ross Jr. here who says, I hate how ever since WrestleVotes reported that WWE was offering Mariah May a massive contract, people use that to blame her for the reason why people are not having their contracts renewed. Okay, so I think there might be some conflicting reports there because I actually heard a different report from Dave. So I don't necessarily as of right now, I'm hearing conflicting reports on that. So I don't really feel confident basically saying that that's accurate. Sorry, Bob Ross. So until we have some more definitive information on that, it is what it is. And then secondly, even if let's just say, just to play a devil's advocate, let's just say she was taking a massive contract from WWE. This company is hella loaded, okay? Mariah May, it's not like they're paying her $40 million, guys. Like, trust me, they got more than enough money to give somebody a big money contract and not have to, release all these other people. Like, they've got more than enough money. We got Casey Poole here who says Karrion Kross and Sami is a bad guy, like how Santi is a bad guy for hating on the Karrion Kross train for months. I lost hope he's not getting a push. Do you think they're doing this on purpose, Santi? Like purposely not pushing him so that the fans could show more love to him? Reverse psychology.
That seems counterintuitive considering he's a heel. You know what I mean? Like that's just not how the business is supposed to be. You don't create sympathy for a heel to get him cheers because that's just not what you're supposed to want to do for a heel. It feels like it's intentional. And partly the reason why it feels like it's intentional is because it feels like they are actively just going out of their way to not listen to fans, which is funny considering Triple H is the one that said, we don't listen to the online fans. I'm the game. We listen to the arena. Well, the arena wants Karas. The arena told you we want truth. Where's that energy?
I don't know, man. I think that the way that I'm seeing is the way that I imagine they're seeing it as is, hey, we did give this guy a bunch of tries. They really did, and it didn't go anywhere. And now suddenly there's this hype. They might not trust it based off of what they've already tried to do. That's my thought process on that. I think they feel like they just
I think it's fair. I think they tried enough times and it failed. It's funny that now when people want to see it, they've probably been soured enough where now they don't want to do it.
Which sucks too, because if you're carrying Cross right now and you're getting the most hype ever from the fans and the most love ever from the fans, and the company's like, nah, dude, I would feel like shit. I'd be like, damn, there's nothing I can do then. If people care about me, but they don't want to do nothing with me, then why should I even care?
Facts.
I think at that point it kind of starts to kill some of your like confidence, I can imagine. But we'll see. We got Oscar Laura here who says, "Oh, Grande Americano wins and cashes in on Hijo del Vikingo after Chad loses to Iho." Oh God. Reading all of this is just wild. I don't know what is happening anymore, Oscar. Very funny stuff though with all of this. It's just, oh God. Uncle Dog here says Punk winning Money in the Bank, creating the suspense of when he'll cash in on Cena before retirement was my ideal story. Yeah, I mean, I thought CM Punk was gonna win and make it into this match. I wasn't actually expecting him to win the actual Money in the Bank, but I was at least expecting him to be in it. So do you think they're gonna make a tag team match perhaps for Money in the Bank? Like CM Punk and Sami versus Braun and Bronson?
I
Because
guess they're all technically not on the show, but like,
right.
but who would be Jay and Punk's? Sorry, who would be Sammy and Punk's third? Can't be
No, so
Jay.
I'm
He's already has a match.
so I'm thinking it'll just be a 2-on-2. Braun and Bronson versus CM Punk and Sammy, because they're the only ones that don't have
Oh,
a
that's
match.
right. And Seth
Yeah.
is already. I
Yeah,
don't
I know. I
know.
keep forgetting because Seth's already in the Money in the Bank. So that's why I do think that they're gonna maybe do a tag team match. Because how do you not have these guys on the card in freaking LA? Like,
Especially
get
like,
out of here.
yeah, especially like Punk. Not like he's so synonymous with Money in the Bank. Maybe like it would be kind of on brand for them to put a last minute match on a big show. They've been doing it recently, so maybe.
There's only 4 matches right now. I think they can definitely add this tag team match. I think they better add this tag team match, because how are you not going to have CM Punk on this card in one of the biggest markets? No, I'm sorry. You got to add CM Punk on this card. That's how I feel about it. But hey, we got thank you Uncle Donk. We got Sin City Saint here who says, "Think WWE actually cares about those Truth and Carlito chants?" I think they know that just like anything else, it'll eventually fade and go away. I mean, look at how many years they dealt with "We Want CM Punk" chants. This is nothing compared to that, unfortunately. So I think they just know it eventually it'll die down. Dion here says, "I would love to see a new double champ cash in on the tag match with both champs involved." Oh my gosh, a Grande Americano, a situation with a double champ? What? That's insane. Thank you, Dion. We got Jacob Tatum here who says, "What is the best case, worst case scenario for the men and women's Money in the Bank in your personal opinion? Plus, when will you think Roman Reigns wins the title once again?" Oh, I think it'll be a long time, Santi. I don't see him winning the title again anytime soon.
I don't see it either. Like for a long time. I think WWE wants their champion there for a long time. So unless they can lock Roman down for like a solid 4 or 5 month stretch, I don't think that he's going to be winning the title anytime soon. In terms of like worst case scenarios, I think it's Andrade winning. But why? That'd be random. And for the women, no such thing as a worst case scenario. Put it on anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Thank you, Jacob. We got Chris Dog here who says, "Denise and Santi think Bianca or Jade will screw Naomi." If anybody, it would be Jade, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would be Jade, if anybody. Thank you, Chris Dog. We got Hassan Batla here who says, "Crazy. I was just suggesting on Grapsity how R-Truth may retire with John Cena. Also, cuts are nothing new. Still mad that they cut the ECW originals 2007, 2008. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just the world we live in." Thank you, Hassan. We got Joe Compton here who says, "R-Truth as GM of NXT, him going head to head with Santino would have been comedy gold." Yeah, even little things like that, you know. I definitely think there was a spot to be filled. Maybe as a manager of somebody on NXT. I don't know, something. Chris Dog here says, "Miz getting released soon. Unfollow X." I don't like to think that way, you know, try to think of people that would get released, because I don't just want to put that out there, you know. It's like you don't want to give somebody bad juju. Dion here says, "Not renewing R-Truth makes me feel like Reg." After being a fan of WWE for over 35 years, this makes me think about protesting the product. I'm big on loyalty. Loyalty is hella important, but I've seen them do this to a lot of people. I mean, they're shout out to their PR guy, like their PR guy who had been with the company for like 25 years was released a couple of years ago. He's over working with AEW now, but I remember seeing that and being like, dude, he was working PR for WWE for like 25 years. Like all
Yeah.
of the things he dealt with behind the scenes and things he had to handle on the PR side to then like be let go. Like that does sucks. 25 years. Insane. So I think at that point, we've seen situations like that where it is what it is, right? Bob Ross Jr. says Stephanie Vaquer got upgraded entrance and a really good video package, and she's already getting loud pop. She's going to be the women's world champ at the end of the year. Santi, what'd you think of her upgraded entrance?
I'm just glad they didn't touch the entrance theme. That's the only thing that I said. I'm like, cool, we got some fire. Great. Don't touch the entrance. Don't add soy la primera. Leave it alone. All right. This is good. A little fire. That's great.
We got Uncle Donk here who says, I might be reading too much into this, but this is indicative of WWE not having much influence on the TKO board. Again, dude, no idea. I still want to find out exactly like who's in the rooms making these decisions, who has the final say. Was there an argument against it? I don't know. Steven Martrulli says Seth Rollins winning sets up Roman screwing his cash in, setting up big singles match. All right, I like your thinking, Steven. Sin City Saint says Karrion, Sami, and AJ would be an insane super group. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I don't know. They're too different to me. And it would just be like, what? Like Karrion just got all in their heads and decided like you guys aren't what you say you are. So now you guys are with me. Why?
The puppet master.
But Karrion doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a carrot to dangle in front of them. Why would they follow him?
I don't think that'd be a group. I disagree. I don't think that it would happen. And I don't know. I don't even know that I would like it. No, I'd rather if Karrion's gonna work his magic, I'd rather him like turn them heel or whatever.
Okay. JJ Castillo here says, I hate to say this, but if TKO continues to having overpriced PLEs tickets, many ads, releasing superstars, and random feuds builds up on PLEs, people will lose interest in watching. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, you don't have to apologize. That is something to be, to think about right now. WWE just came off of a hot period. But we know what it's like when WWE is not hot. We know when WWE is hot, and both of those two can continue to happen. It could go back down. It can stay back up. We've seen it, Santi. It goes up and down. Thank you, JJ Castillo. We got Sin City Saint here says Karrion next week showing AJ footage of El Grande Chad Decano putting the metal plate in for that headbutt. Okay. All right, since sitting out here thinking, Sleaze Boy says, which WWE fans can revolt defecting to AEW, but they can't because AEW is being ran by EVPs and bore riders who can't run a Target or an OnlyFans. Thanks, Sleaze Boy. We got Broadway Joe here who says Fed fans want a company built around cross theory and truth. Dear Lord, LMAO. Okay, let's not put everybody in the same bubble, Joe. Steven Truly says Stephanie Vaquer winning Money in the Bank gives the match and show a holy shit boost for future Rhea programs. It definitely does. I think people would be very excited about that. All right, I'm all caught up now. So, Santi, I do want to go ahead and rewind here to what we did see with CM Punk and Sami Zayn and everything that played out, but we know how it all ended. We don't need to talk about the Sami Seth stuff. It's the same stuff, whatever. What I do want to talk about, though, is that CM Punk did make a mention of two people that he has mentioned before. Once again, the bald fraud goof, The Rock, and this time calling John Cena a bitch. At what point are both John Cena and The Rock finally going to say something about the comments CM Punk has made about them?
I'm not expecting The Rock ever, but John Cena eventually. I think it's inevitable. I feel like Cena versus CM Punk, that's a night two closer for this SummerSlam. If they want to sell this SummerSlam to cities like it's a WrestleMania, then they need to come up with like a big WrestleMania type match. And that's probably it right there. Even though I know that Cody versus John Cena is also there, I feel like Cody versus John Cena is something that could get run maybe closer to John Cena's retirement. Maybe something will come up between now and SummerSlam to keep Cody Rhodes busy away from John Cena, because inevitably we will be getting Cena versus Cody Rhodes. But I would love for it to be Cena versus Punk at SummerSlam, especially if they're already planting seeds with this promo.
SummerSlam needs a lot more buzz too, because it doesn't feel like there's that much. Maybe it's because there's so many other events that are coming before we even get to SummerSlam. But considering it's the first ever 2-night SummerSlam in New York City, well, New Jersey, but you guys get it. It's a big deal. And I feel like no one has really been like really talking about it that much. I don't know, maybe it's
No,
still too far
it's
away.
impossible. It's
What's
impossible
the
to.
date? End of August.
And
We're still
no,
3
it's
months.
August 3rd. It's beginning of August.
Never
So we
mind, 2
only
months.
we only have 3 weeks between that crazy July 12th weekend and SummerSlam.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
3 weeks to sell a 2-night SummerSlam at MetLife.
Yep.
They need to really ramp up, get some buzz there, and really get some of this stuff moving along, whether it's John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. What's he gonna do? I don't know. Is The Rock gonna be there? I feel like, look, I know I'm gonna sound foolish for saying this, but I really do think that we should see The Rock at SummerSlam. But at this point, I know it's foolish of
I,
me to say
I
so.
yeah, I think the kids are calling that copium.
I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. What haven't we discussed about on this show? Hold on. The War Raiders versus Finn Balor and
Move
JD
on.
McDonough. Okay, let's move
Move
on.
on.
Becky Lynch promo, Lyra Valkyria. Lyra's on fire again. They go at
Yeah.
it for a little bit. She chases after her.
Good stuff. Good promo. I enjoyed it. I'm excited for the match. You know, like it was a classic at Backlash. I'm sure it's going to be a classic again. Are you expecting a Bailey appearance here in that match?
Yes. I think Bailey should cost Becky Lynch the match, and I think Lyra Valkyria should defeat Becky Lynch.
Are
I
we
know.
thinking?
Again,
Are we thinking it's a triple threat between those three at Evolution?
I would like that. I
Yeah,
don't
me too.
hate that. I like that idea. I'll take it. I like that idea. All right. Kairi Sane versus Raquel. Unfortunately, this was the match that like no one really cared about, and this is the match that you probably got the most R-Truth chance throughout it. So it is what it is, but they're still continuing to build Roxanne and Liv Morgan having some beef with each other.
Kyrie's on a win streak, if anyone cares.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least she's been featured on TV pretty
Yeah.
much every single week since she came back. That's a big win for her.
Yeah, I
I'll
hope her
take-
contract's not up soon.
Oh no, she just got back.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I was
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter if they use you or not. If your contract's up soon, goodbye.
True that. We got Big Hots here who says the Heyman faction is dangerous alliance mixed with the Evolution. I would debut Mariah May in the group and add Ricky Saints and Becky, give them all the belts on Raw. Oh, I kind of like that idea of Mariah May being in the group and someone to break the B's, and we can have some M's in there. Although I don't think so. I think she'll be on NXT, Big Hots. Thank you so much for the love. We got Nicholas Flint here who says, do you think the Chargers will win the AFC West? Oh, that's a question for you, Santi.
They'll win the Super Bowl, brother. Believe the Super Bowl.
Do you do, Santi, like any like superstitious beliefs when it comes to the games? Like, is there something you always have to do when you're watching the Chargers?
No, actually, I should probably start some superstitions. Maybe it'll actually give them some good luck. But no, I don't have any like superstitious beliefs. I always wear my jersey.
Okay. My husband's a Jets fan, and I bought him a Jets prayer candle. He hasn't lit it, and I told him, light the damn candle. You need all of the help you can get. So we'll see if he does it this upcoming season. We got AJV here who says, my sister turned off the TV when Punk lost. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. There's nothing worse than not even having a reaction to something. Okay. I had no reaction to Chad Gable, Grande Americano winning. Insane. Sin City Saint says, Santi seems very hurt by the truth release. We feel you.
I mean, it's just confusing, you know, it's just so confusing. Yeah, I feel like I've already kind of spoke my piece about it. Yeah, it's a confusing situation.
Thank you, Sin City Saint. All right, guys. Well, with that, my friends, was Monday Night Raw here today. We are heading into Money in the Bank. And that is it, guys. Like, dude, this is moving along so freaking fast, Santi. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we're talking about all of these shows so fast.
It's going to keep going like that because it's literally so many shows in such a little amount of time. Can you believe that the longest gap between shows post WrestleMania has been 3 weeks? It was 3 weeks between WrestleMania and Backlash, and then after that it was 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks, and now we got 3 weeks between Money in the Bank and Night of Champions, and then 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks to build a 2-night WrestleMania. This summer's insane.
Yo, I mean, at this point, let's just say 2 pay-per-views a month at this point. That's what it's feeling like. But hey, on the bright side, it gives us something to talk about. So that's always very, very
Keeps
nice.
us employed.
Yeah, for real. Santi, tell the people where they can find you and support you and check out your stuff.
You can go to any and all things Santi Zap. Go check out the YouTube since you're already here. YouTube.com/Mr. Santi Zap. Daily YouTube videos over there. Go check them out.
Click that subscribe button, guys. Alrighty, as for me, all social media is at _ Denise Salcedo, especially the Facebook page. I'm trying to grow it back up. I'm, let me see, what's 117,000 minus 3.5 thousand?
Well, 113,500.
Okay, that's how many more I need to catch up to my old channel. So
Let's get there.
so go over there, Denise Salcedo, Denise's version on Facebook, and at _ Denise Salcedo everywhere else, as well as here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in to the Rob Post Show. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.